Hi, today I've got a motorhome fault, another one. What I'm going to do is go through it and see why the fan isn't working. It's had a lot of rewiring, it's an older motorhome, so I've got a lot to do. All I want is the fan and the radiators to work, to switch on when it gets hot and cut out again when it's cooled down enough. At the moment it's got a switch that's on the dash that you just switch it on and off when it gets hot. But they're wanting that put back to standard, and there's a list of other faults with the car that don't work, like the lights aren't working and different things. Here's what I've done to the relay. When I came here, these big brown wires were already here. There was also two other big wires for the control side of the relay. I've changed them, so we're using the big brown wires that were already provided. And I've just put in a green wire, and this green wire is going to go not to the switch that was over there. I'm going to put that wire to the fan switch. They had fitted a new fan switch, but it still didn't work, so I'm just going to work with what they've got and take this to the fan switch instead of to the toggle switch that's over there. So I'm taking my green wire through here. I don't want to go into this. The toggle switch is now disconnected actually. I'm not using that. And the switch was coming out of here, this brown wire. So what I'm doing is going to go to the fan switch now and make this green wire connect to the fan switch. I've connected it in here because the multi-plug just next to it. This wire goes down to near the fan switch in the radiator, and at this end there's nothing coming out of that multi-plug. It didn't have a wire on the other side, so I've put my green wire into that. The same wire here where it joins together goes into the white one that goes into the brand new fan switch that was already fitted down here. The black one that comes out of the fan switch, well, I'm not using the red one, that's just not getting used. But the black one, I've joined into the black wire that was here, going into the wiring loom. And that goes to a ground already on the car, so I've got a ground. So this fan switch will have a ground on this wire, and this wire will be power. Although I say power, it'll show 12 volts, but it'll be on the ground side of the relay. So it's like, this is gonna, when this makes the contact, when it gets hot enough, that will make a contact and join this one that's the ground side of the relay. When it's switched off, it'll show 12 volts. When it connects to this one through the fan switch, it'll pull this down to 0 volts, to a ground. And that should make the relay click on. That'll make the relay click on. So here's the power coming into it through this wire, which is fused. It also splices off onto the control side of the relay. So that power that we're seeing down there is actually on the ground side of the relay. So then once that shorts it out, this will make a contact, the fans come on. This is demonstrating on the ground side of the wire, because it comes through the relay. It's not been grounded out yet though, so it's showing battery voltage here. If I ground it out, the fans will come on. So I'm happy that side's working okay. They want it just as it is. Both fans come on together. So I've left as much of it as original, or I've left a lot of it original. Not original to the car, but original to how it was when I came here and found it. So that's the fan side done. Now I've got a bunch of other things to look at, like the light's not working properly. So I'm going to start working my way through a list. The next thing I'm going to look at is going to be the way the lights are flashing in the back of here. The interior lights. I've also got a problem with the exterior lights. I'm going to start with the interior lights here. I'll show you what I mean. Interior light's flashing, and apparently it wasn't before. So that's one of the things to fix. The exterior lights are also faulty. But I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start by going to the leisure battery and doing a battery test on there and see what happens. There you can see the battery, 15 volts. It's probably because it's been charged from the solar panel. Not sure what's going on. I'll try and do a battery test. I didn't like that, that's dropped right down. What's going on? The battery might be too low to do anything with it. It's not happy with something, it's not letting me do a battery test. But anyway, it's a low battery voltage. That might be why the lights are flashing. See, the volts are going all over the place at the moment. I'll switch this to a scope. So the problem with this is the voltage is going up and down because the solar panels on the roof, and it's got a voltage controller that's trying to do its job to control the battery to stop it overcharging. So I'm going to see what's going on with that. I might have to disconnect this wire here and do a battery test. I think it's going to fail it though, looking at what I was seeing. That might be why the lights are flickering, because the battery is that low. Maybe it's all it is. So here I've got a solar charge controller, power negative, so if I put these onto here, one-handed, okay, I'll do that again. Here's the solar charger controller, and I'm just checking here. You see them on the solar panel, positive, negative. We're right about 20 volts. So it's overcharging for the battery, so this will be doing something to control that. So what I can do is go to the one next to it, the output to the battery. Right, I'm on there. And that's what's happening. That's going to match the pattern that we saw down there. Just trying to give it protection to not overload the battery, so that's exactly what's going on there. That's what's going to be the problem with that, why we're seeing the voltage not steady at the battery end. It's because it's coming from here, the controller. So if I disconnect that and maybe put a jump pack on for now and see what happens, I might just see what happens. Does everything in the back work properly like it should do? And then I know once I fix the battery charge problem, we should be okay. At the moment it's charging from the solar panel only. I think there is a switch that the owner was saying somebody's put a switch in, so when you get driving you can either charge the car's battery or you can hit the switch and charge the leisure battery. So that might be something they want me to look at in the future as well. When I go down the red wire there, see the spikes? Can change the range as well. No, it won't let me. Anyway, so that's the one with the spikes on it, and it's that red wire. So that's how I found out which wire it is that's coming from over there. The other ones don't move about, they stay pretty constant. So if I come off that one and go down the blue one, like that, it's just a straight line. So now I know it's this red one. I'm going to disconnect it. Now I've disconnected the one that had the spike, the sawtooth pattern on the scope, and then here, and now I've got a steady voltage, although it's really low. So I'm going to try and switch on the lights with a jump pack across here and see what happens. Wire disconnected, these lights don't work. So what I'm going to do is connect this, and if everything works properly, then we know that's done. We just need a good battery. The battery needs to go and charge, test it, and see what's going on. Now I'm using this battery charger. No, it's not. Now I'm using this boost pack. onto the battery. I've still got the wire disconnected that comes off here. And with that, the lights stay on. Not very bright, but maybe that's all they do. What about this one? There's a flashy one. That might be this light itself. I don't know if that's actually working. There. Yeah, I think that was a problem with the switch in this. That was a bit of a strange one. So those lights work. I'm not sure how charged that one is because I've been using it and I've not had a chance to put it back on charge. So that's two of the things on the list. So I think these are just going to be down to the battery not being very good down there. I'm going to check and see about the alternator charging it as well. That might be a better idea to try and get that to happen. What I found now, when I start the car and I've got a toggle switch here, red light on. When the red light is on, this is connected to the battery that's under the bonnet. So when I press that, that's the charging. And also when I touch the tip onto the battery in here, it's also charging. I turn this one off now, so the light goes out. And we're back down to the funky sort of charging from the controller. So that's okay now. I'll leave that on for a minute. Now I've figured out how they've wired it. That's on. And we have charging going on here. And at the back the lights are starting to work. I'll go and show you. Here's the light. On. It stays on, it's not flickering, it's not using my jump pack anymore. It's using its own battery, which isn't very good. So they may want to, if it's not going to take a charge, they're definitely going to have to replace it. This one at the back's a little different. It's got like a faulty switch. You need to hold it in the exact right place for it to work. The pump for the water works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. So now that we've got a charge, see this word pump here? If I tap that, I'm getting a light coming on. And that's squirting out at the back. So by doing like the fans, and tap test it, that's it working. So I'm just going to have to unscrew this plate and see what's loose behind there. So I think that's most of what this is talking about. Then it was just the radio needs to work, and the driving lights at the front, the headlights, indicators, and the back lights. So I've still got a fair bit to go. Now I'm looking at this. That's flashing like it should do. The front one doesn't flash at all. I've got a problem with the lights that I'm going to need to look at as well, and also at the back. I don't think it works at the back. No, you see that? It's like disco lights, that's what the guy calls it. So that's usually a sign of a background. So I'm going to move on to this now. This one may be okay. You can see it's affecting this side too, actually. I'll put the other indicator on and see what happens. There's the indicator flashing, but if we look at the ground, that's getting voltage on it as the indicator's flashing. Maybe show it better like that, I don't know. Yeah, on the graph. That's one of the useful things about this power scope. This is Autel, but Sealy do one that's basically the same. So we've got a high ground on there. A bad ground, I mean, a high voltage on the ground. Too high to be acceptable. And it's probably the same thing on this other side. Let's have a little look here. That one's flashing very dimly, but it is flashing. If I go into here, got the same sort of thing going on. 0.5 of a volt isn't as bad as the other side, so you may have a voltage drop at this bulb. Yeah, there's only 8 volts getting to the bulb. 8 or 9 volts. So this one's got a low voltage on the power side means it's a voltage drop on the power side, and high voltage on the ground on that side means it's a voltage drop or corrosion, something like that on the ground. It's a bad ground. So we've got 2 different issues here. Just gotta fix them now. That's the brake light on, side lights on, and the indicator working properly, no disco lights. Same on the other side now. All I did was took the lights out and cleaned up the connections, put it back, and they're working okay. See down here at the very bottom down there, under the light, 1 second, just putting my hand trying to show you. Okay, so down here, down there, we put new connectors on, 2 new connectors, and that's giving me a side light. You can hardly tell in this light, and one there. So we've got side lights, same wire, and then wires piggyback from this one across to the other side. I'm not looking at the Scotch lock there, I'm not sure what that's there for, but that might be the next thing I'm addressing. So with the ignition on, we've now got side lights, although not very bright. So far I've got the backlights working, a lot of the stuff inside's working, it's just the battery that needs to be addressed on that. Side lights at the front are working, all the indicators are working. The fans are coming on and off on their own. And what else have I got? I'm working on the headlights now. This side's not working, so I'll show you what I found here. It's a case of just going through it all and figuring out what's happening. And the colour of the wires. I don't have a wiring diagram for this, and everything's been altered that much, I'm not going to get one for this. If I go into the wires here, it's had a new plug to go into the back of what looks like a H4 headlight bulb. And the red wire that they've got, I'll just position it a bit better. I was trying to do this one-handed, and it's not going to be too easy, right? So the red wire on that side was showing as a ground, but on this side I have 7.3 volts, so I've got a background. Now if we look at where the red wire is down here, the other side of it we've got the black wire. I'm going to do the same test on the other side and see what the difference in the power is. It's the same wire, the red one going into the black, it should be a ground. When it gets to the black wire it has a good ground, it's lighting up green. When you see power on it on the red side, it means it's got a background. So somewhere in here, where somebody's maybe soldered it, it's probably got a bad connection. So I'm going to put a new connection in there and see if the light works. In fact, I could go into the red wire with this power probe and give it ground and see if the headlight comes on. I'm in the red wire again. Now I'm just going to give this a ground like that. So we've given it a better ground. The headlight's on, I'll let it go. It's gone out. So it's just a ground issue on this wire, and we found out where it is. So once I fix that, I think I'm done with what I was asked to do today. Oh, just the radio to do. See what's going on with the radio. Right, the radio that I've got here, I'll show you with this power probe. I'm in the power where the 2 wires join, and we've got this thing going on that was going on before, which tells us that it's coming from this battery. And the same colour wire is this one that I had. It wasn't connected to anything when I came to the car, it was lying down there. So now we know that is why the radio wouldn't have worked, because there was no power to it. So now we can check it for a ground and see if we can get it working. I might need to start the thing up and switch the alternator switch on that was here, so the alternator starts to charge the back as well. So it'll charge the leisure battery, it'll give it a stable voltage, and that's probably going to be better for testing this. It might be quite noisy though, so I'll leave it off just for now. Okay, this is fixing this. So I've got the steady voltage back down here with the engine running. I'm going to go into the ground, and that's ground as close to the plug as I can get. I could back probe it like that actually. Ground. Then I've got the yellow and the red. Again, power. These are the 2 powers and the memory one. I can get into there. You see they're all good. It's not working. You switch it on, it is on. Am I pressing the wrong button? One sec. Can't switch this damn phone off. It's on. It works. I gotta fish out the aerial from out of there somewhere, but that's working. So that's all it was. The wire was off down there. It's all good. Nice easy repair on that one. I'd already fixed it when I put the wire on, even though I didn't know what it was for. I just thought that looked like it was meant to be on there. So I put the aerial in. Oh, here it is. The aerial, or the antenna. I'll put that in and see if I can tune in a radio station. There's no radio station being found, so I'm not going to get hit for playing music that I don't have the rights to, so that's fine. If they put a CD in there, it may work. At least it's powered up and it wasn't doing that before. So that's me done. Everything I think I was asked to do. I'll tidy it up a little bit. I mean, it was in bits when I came to it, so there's only so far I'm going to take that and do what I've touched. Hopefully some of this is helpful to you. The background at the back, the disco lights was a background. The other side, the dim light, was poor power. I cleaned that up, improved the power so it got proper voltage. The fan, how I've wired that into the relay, that's working now. It's not overheating anymore. And the radio, the lights at the back. So all he needs is a new leisure battery. If this doesn't take a charge, that's it, and then he's fixed everything. Hopefully some of it was useful. If I can help somebody else in this area, I'm in St. Austell in Cornwall. If anybody wants a hand for me to look at the car, minibus, motorhome, van, give me a call. I'll see if I can help. Thanks for watching.